This is the Inquisitive Minds Podcast.
Hey, thank you for tuning in to the Inquisitive Minds Podcast. I'm your host, Johnny Smith. With me today, very special guest. I've known him for many years now, owner of his own business, hilarious individual, family man, Marcus Cox. Welcome to the program.
What's up, Johnny? Thanks for having me, man. It's been a long time coming.
It
Our,
has, man.
our schedules finally work together.
Also, I forgot to mention model, because as soon as I introduced him, the smile came. Okay,
Yeah,
the
we
Hollywood smile
talking
right
about my
there.
old days, man. We talking about my old days.
Real quick before we get into it, too, on a personal level,
Yeah,
uh, I've always looked at you as an inspiration.
really.
I've always appreciated the way you were a family man first. Like I've seen you so much around your kids and your
Yeah, yeah,
missus,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it inspired me. And then
Appreciate it,
when
man.
I've had questions about my fatherhood,
Right.
I've looked toward you.
Yeah, man. Anything you need to know, or
Just wanted to personally
I
thank you and put
appreciate
that
that.
out
No, I
there.
appreciate that because that's real important to me, man. Above everything, above everything, I try to uh be great at that first before anything. So.
Absolutely. Overnight, I turned into whatever to where's my kids at?
Yeah, man, that
Overnight.
fatherhood is different, man. When you have someone or people, how many ever kids you got, that is solely dependent on you, like you're like a hero in a sense, so they don't know, especially, your daughter, she's little, she's a baby still, so you're going to be the only man she knows, you know what
hmm
I mean? So like when like when I just met her in the car, she was like, who is that? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she was like, you're not my dad. So you're gonna be like an apple of her eye, like plain and simple. I remember when Layla was a baby and we took her to the doctor to get a checkup, and the doctor was a guy. And the way she was just looking at him, because she didn't see any other men but me, and she was looking at this doctor like, "Who are you? You are not my."
Excuse me,
Yeah,
sir.
like I've
Where's
never.
dad?
Yeah, I hear the deep voice. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, just
Well,
yeah,
anyways, let's start about your comedy journey because
yeah.
I remember the first time I met you.
Hmm,
You
hmm.
sent me a message. Me, you, and Joey, amongst
Yeah,
other people, were on a show up in Erie,
yeah.
of all places, man.
uh
At the hotel, wasn't it? Like the
We were
Avalon Hotel?
is that what it's called?
I think it was the
Avalon?
Avalon.
I think it is the Avalon. That place probably ain't even open anymore. But yeah, Avalon,
Yeah,
Avalon.
yeah.
It's probably closed.
But no, man, we hit it off, and we've been friends ever since.
Ever
But tell
since,
me,
yeah.
or for the listeners more so, actually,
Right.
tell me about how you started.
Um, the first time I did a mic, we were talking like I don't even maybe 2011-ish, maybe. It's
Okay.
been a while. But that's not when I started comedy. I don't want to say that. I met a comedian, and I said he said, "Hey, I'm doing a show." He was already like established. And I give you some free tickets, come down, check it out, whatever, whatever. So a couple of us went down. He used to come by my job. Couple of us went down, and I seen him do it. And I was like, man, I could do that. Like I've always had an interest in stand up, not really doing it because when you think of a comedian and you're not a comedian, you think of a famous person.
Yeah,
Like you don't just meet a comedian every day. Like your neighbor, if someone told you, when you were a kid they were a comedian, you're gonna think they're famous, even as an adult.
that's the thing too. There's plenty of
There's so
comedians.
many
There's
comedians.
so many.
There's so many, but everyone has the expectation of a comedian of like you're Eddie Murphy. No, so you like Kevin Hart? No.
Yeah, exactly. That's I got pulled over one time coming
Yeah.
from a comedy show out in Ohio,
Yeah.
and the guy who pulled me over asked me what happened. I told him, "Look, long drive. I was just changing the music. Sorry."
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, what are you coming from?" I said, "I'm a comedian." He goes, "You know Tom Segura? He's funny." Yeah, I know Tom Segura, dude.
Yeah,
Thanks.
of course. All right. Yeah, that's how it is. They don't picture a smaller level. So anyway, I was like, I could like try that. I could try it. So I seen this comedian again, and he was like, "We're having an open mic. Go home, write like 6 minutes down, whatever, and we see how you do." So I did it.
Which sounds easy,
It does. 6 minutes sounds like
like,
it's super easy.
and not
It
just six
does.
minutes of talking. 6
joke.
minutes of funny.
6 minutes of just making people laugh.
That's not as easy as it is coming out
No.
the gate.
And honestly, open mic usually don't get that long.
Mm-mm.
6 minutes is a good bit.
Yeah.
So I went home and I was just writing down some stuff I thought was funny. I don't really remember the set, but I'm sure it wasn't that great. But I did get laughs, and they let me go a little longer because a friend of mine recorded it. I think I went for 6 minutes, 42 seconds. That's almost a minute running a light.
Yeah.
So they let me run the light. I guess they knew it was my first time. Well, they knew it was my first time. That's how I got introduced. And I was like, oh, this feels good. So, I mean, I guess I could do that again. We're at the Improv. They used to do mics down there. We're talking about like 200 people there. So I'm like, this is how comedy is every time. The next, I met a comedian there, and he's like, "Hey, I'm having an open mic Thursday or whatever the day was," and he was like, "Come down. I'll give you 5 minutes or whatever." I'm like, "All right, cool." Invited some more people because that's what you do when you first start. You think that like, "Oh, come see me do stand up," even though you don't know nothing about it,
Yeah. And you know what? You
and you
waste
stop.
those early invites.
Yeah,
And now
yeah.
a lot of those people think you just suck
I was going.
because they don't understand the
Yeah.
process.
Yep. In the beginning, if any of your comedians are new and listening to this, do not invite your buddies when you first start stand up. Don't invite your family. Don't invite your mom. Don't invite anybody when you first start. Just don't do it because you're not going to be that great. And then they're going to see you and then they're going to be like, this dude is terrible. I thought he was going to, because their expectation is going to be through the roof. Like you see, you do stand up, they're going to be like, oh, he's going to be, I know he's funny, man. We laughing and stuff. He's had me cracking up in school. Man, they go down, you're gonna suck. You ain't gonna never see them again. They ain't not gonna
Yeah.
give you that second chance. They're not gonna give a shit. They was like, well, I've seen him before. He
When's
was
your next show?
okay. Yeah.
When's your next show? What
They're
time you
gonna
go on?
yeah, they're gonna play, you're gonna spin you. So just wait till you get some time under your belt, invite your people and because I mean, quite honestly, like I can draw people now, but it took a while because some people saw me when I sucked and they were like, huh? Or the worst is when they catch a bad show. We always have bad shows.
Oh yeah.
Everybody has a bad show. And those are the ones your people decide to come through.
And it's usually not your fault when
No,
it's
don't be
that
your fault.
bad show.
No.
It's either like I hate to say this because I'm always say don't blame the audience. Sometimes you got a bad audience and a bad venue.
Sometimes it'd be a bad beat. They want to come to like a bar show where I'm just probably going to work some stuff out. It's going to be these people in the background talking. I'm not going to give my best as far as material because I'm in a bar. And then they come to that one. It goes south. So okay, anyway, I did that and I didn't really do stand up in that time frame. I just kind of occasionally might have hit a mic. Um, I didn't network. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. I was just out there, just wow, just no guidance or anything like that. I didn't really network. I didn't go to mics. I didn't know how it worked. So dibbled and dabbled, like, and I'm talking about maybe like a mic 2 mics a year type shit. Like, oh, I'll go to this one in February,
So
and I'm
not
not.
even like
Yeah, then I didn't go back one till like October. So I didn't really get serious or messing around till like 2014. That's when I got actually booked on a show. Like, I just wanted to be on a flyer. I kept seeing all these comedians on the flyer. Oh, they're doing the show Friday night, and that was the first time I actually got booked on a show. And I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, I'm actually booked. I wasn't getting paid nothing, but you know. So
Marcus, I want your opinion on this too, because like I've had similar thoughts, especially in the past, like I just want to be on a flyer.
yeah.
Um, but now that I've been on, numerous flyers, countless flyers,
Mhm.
sometimes it just feels overrated. Like there's been a number of flyers that I would have preferred, not necessarily for my face to been on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't post all flyers because, like you said, sometimes it's just like whatever. Because especially like when you're new, you definitely keep come to this. I'm on this
Hmm.
flyer. I'm on this flyer. After a while, yeah, it is. I mean, I guess you can say it's a little overrated. You don't have that same thrill
Yeah,
as
it's
you
not
used
as
to.
exciting as like I thought it would be getting over that hump.
Yeah, I'm just more excited to do the show. I ain't really worried about the flyer like I was. So I messed around with that, man, and then I kind of started to
Well, when
understand.
you got booked on your first show,
Yeah.
can you tell us about that first show?
The first show I did was it was in McKees Rocks. I don't know if this place is even still there. Was it Dead Horse Cantina? Maybe is that place still there?
I'm not sure.
Oh, we're taking it back.
Yeah.
It was a like a showcase. Maybe about 6, 7 of us did maybe like 7 to 8 minutes or something like that. I don't honestly, I don't remember how it went. I really don't.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember. I guess I did good enough. I mean, I really don't remember. It feels like ancient history.
I mean,
You
at
know
this
what I
point,
mean?
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah. So I don't really remember how the very. I remember the first mic for sure, like the
Mhm.
improv one. Like I remember that clearly. But the first like show, I don't know, man. And I did a lot of competitions in the beginning too.
Those are rough.
Those are
I
those are
I
rough.
feel like it's necessary because you learn a
You
few
have to
things,
do them.
but
I
after a
mean,
while,
yeah.
give it a break.
I was going to Youngstown a lot, doing a bunch of contests in
Oh,
Youngstown.
was that run by Matt Onesti? Matt Wheels Onesti?
Some of them.
I've done a couple of those
I
competitions.
met him along the way, and I mean, I'm in Youngstown. I'm in hood bars, like hole in the wall bars, trying to make these people let people walking in front of you. You know, I'm earning the thick skin. I'm getting the thick skin early. You know what I mean? Doing these comps, and I won a couple. Um, because again, I had no guidance. I wasn't networking with Pittsburgh comedians. Like, I mean, they actually weren't nice in the beginning. Like, those comics weren't
I
nice.
mean, 2011 or 2014 even
Yeah,
seems like a lifetime ago.
yeah.
Can you remember who was like around and big in the scene at the time?
There
If there's any
at that
comics that I'll
at that time it was Cliver,
mhm.
Robe. Uh,
Seen Rogue. This is unrelated, but I've seen he's doing a show with that one mailman from TikTok. He's like rar. That dude. I don't remember his name, but
I know who you're talking
yeah,
about. It's called that man, that one mailman.
yeah.
That's because Gary Owens took him under his wing. That's
Okay.
why. Yeah, Clobber was a top dog. Robe was a top dog. Bill Crawford.
Okay. So big names now.
Yeah, but like I didn't like really know these guys. Like
Mhm.
I knew Robe, just kind of I knew him.
Was the Funny Bone still around then?
No, not
Okay.
when I. That's back
Okay.
then. Yeah, there was only when I started. It was only improv, and I didn't even know if arcade. I don't even. I mean, it may have been. I didn't know about it. If arcade was there, I didn't know about it. I thought that what most new comedians think, the improv is it. Like there's no other shows, just
Once you
improv.
reach the improv,
Yeah, you
you're
think,
there every
yeah,
weekend. You're rich.
yeah,
You're
that's what I
making.
thought. That's what
Yeah.
I thought. So yeah, man, and even still, like in 2014, like I still wasn't like super serious with it. Like I was just doing those competitions, little stuff here and there, and then 2016 maybe when I got accepted to the Cleveland Comedy Festival.
Okay.
Now that's like when I felt like a comedian. Like when that happened, that was when I was like, I'm a comedian now. Like I sent my tape to somebody, they liked it, and they want me to come do their festival. That's when I was like, all right, you know what I mean? That's when I was like, okay, like maybe I am a comedian now.
That's a good answer.
So that getting accepted in that first festival kind of was like, you can really do it. Like somebody that you don't know runs a festival thinks you're funny. So I went to Cleveland Comedy Festival, did like maybe like maybe 4 or 5 shows out there, all over Cleveland. And
I was with you the day I felt like a comedian.
what was that?
When we traveled to New York that one time.
When all of
Yeah,
us
when
all
all of us
bunched
traveled to
up
New
and
York,
I hated that trip, but
and
go
I
ahead.
had just so happened to get a guest spot
hmm
from a guy I knew at the Broadway Comedy Club.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
only 5 minutes, and I was there by myself.
I
Didn't know
remember.
but one person. I went up there, had a phenomenal show for 5 minutes.
Right,
But
right.
like after I left, I think like a week or two later, I ended up getting booked to go back up there for a paid show.
I think I remember that.
And I like after doing that because I felt like New York is like the Mecca, and I feel like
It
if I
is,
can go on
man.
stage here with these comics and kill a room, I feel like a real comic now.
Right, right.
That was a great trip. But I remember
I remember.
that
Yeah,
trip,
I
man.
remember when you did because you were like, I got a guest spot at such and such, and I'm like, oh, well, he's having a good time on this trip. Oh, I hated that trip so bad. I just
Well, I mean, there were other reasons that trip was kind of like
yeah,
well. pleasantly, I'll say. Like, unfortunately, you guys had a show booked in Harlem
We
that
had a
got
Harlem.
canceled.
We had a
So,
Harlem.
like, and you know what? The mics were rough up
The
there.
mics were rough.
2
I
minutes.
didn't have a good time on the mics, man. I just um I've gone to New York before doing mics, but I was getting like 5 minute slots or whatever. Because I think when we went, that was maybe like my third time doing comedy up there. Like I did Broadway, I did Greenwich, I did a couple of those clubs up there, and I never did the mic scene per
Hmm.
se. So that was like
It's vicious.
I was like I wasn't ready for that. I was like I'm just about to start my joke and I got the light, so I couldn't adjust to it. It didn't work for me.
I mean, it's hard to adjust to when you're only there for a couple days,
Yeah,
and we were
yeah.
at so many different
We were just
locations.
bouncing around and
I
I mean,
don't. I don't regret the trip. I regret,
right.
certain aspects of it.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was a good trip.
It was a fun trip because we all were just cutting up.
Yeah.
We all were just we all were just cutting up, and
So when
so
you got accepted into the
mhm.
Cleveland Comedy Fest, that's when you
That's
felt
when I
like a
was like,
real
I really
comic.
felt like a comedian then. Yeah, that's when I was like, okay, like I'm about to go to another city because they picked me to do this. I actually have something I could kind of like use as like a credit in a
Hmm.
way. Like I don't have a resume, so I haven't opened for anybody or anything like that. But I can say, oh, I did the Cleveland Comedy Festival.
Has anybody ever checked your comedy resume?
Mm, I don't know.
Because I've been thinking about this.
I don't know.
Like, obviously, don't write down something blatantly that they could check. Like, I wouldn't write down, like, oh, I'm a regular at the Improv every weekend.
Right, right.
But you can, like, a person could pad their resume, and I
Yeah,
just wonder if anybody checks it. Because it's just to read a bio that sounds good.
that's.
It's
I
it's
never thought
never
of.
even really to prove that you can do comedy, because that's
That's
what the
true.
tape's for.
That's true. Yeah, I
But
never thought about that.
because I was thinking about it, hand in hand. Sometimes if you're a good tape, but you ain't done
You
nothing. You're
haven't
like, I
done
got
anything.
7 open
Yeah,
mics.
you haven't done anything. Yeah.
I was just me personally
I
thinking about,
think.
wonder if they
I
pad
think.
the resumes.
I'm not 100% sure, but I think the only one that stand out are TV credits.
Okay.
I think you could work this club, that club, that club, but if they see, I did America's Got Talent or I did uh Comic View, even they don't have that. I'm just using examples. Then I think the TV credits is what puts you a little,
A little bit higher.
yeah, yeah, but
Now, I guess we can talk about this, but like I see a lot of comics, touring comics, that
mhm,
are like not top upper echelon, but still
right.
working, making their money. Use old credits, man.
Oh
Use
yeah,
credits from like shows that were like 20 years ago,
yeah, yeah. They
25
just
years.
never let him go.
Like,
They never let him go.
who is it? And if he's not dead, forgive me, but rest in peace, JJ. I don't know if he's still out there working
Like from Good Times.
from Good Times. Like I was talking to a comic, I think a year or two
I think
ago,
he's still
just
alive.
talking
Actually,
about for opening up for him, and he was just
he was
not friendly.
he-
Is the way I'll put it. He was not a good person to open up for.
really
Yeah,
like he should be thankful.
honestly, I agree because I'm nothing against him,
Nothing against them,
but
but come
your
on now.
only credit is from a 40-year-old show,
Like, come on.
50-year-old
Right,
show,
right. Like, be realistic. So,
and I don't know his set either. But if you're getting out there and still screaming dynamite,
I would hope to God.
you better be more pleasant.
I think the credits, I think the only ones really that, like, are the TV credits. Last
Okay.
Comic Standing, et cetera, et cetera. Because you can ride Last Comic Standing out because there are guys who haven't been on it in like 20 years and they still use it.
Yeah, I don't remember all the seasons too, but I remember specifically Ralphie May,
Mm,
his season losing on that,
yeah,
and like he blew up.
he blew up.
And the guy that won, what was it, Dat Fan? The only thing
Yeah,
I
that fan. Yeah,
the
that
only
fan.
thing I see him doing anymore is a bunch of like Zoom shows
He does a
that
lot
get
of
shit
shows that
on
had
in the
that have like 30 people on them.
the bad comedy page. Um,
Yeah.
but,
It's just
but Rich
those
Voss was on there. I remember Rich Voss, and
Rich
he's
Voss.
not like
Okay.
super famous.
But he's doing
He's
his
been on
thing.
TV a bunch. He's
Right,
working.
right. And that's for me, that's like all that I want. I used to want fame, like I want to be famous doing this. I don't want fame anymore, especially with all the stuff that's going on now. Oh my goodness. Hollywood seems like the worst place to be.
See, I feel counterintuitive when I do this because this is labor of love,
Yeah.
and I'm putting it on the internet.
Right,
So,
right.
like, somewhere the goal has to be to get eyes on it.
Yeah.
But I don't want that, like, I don't want
I
to be
don't
super
I
famous
don't
or
want
anything
super
ever
fame.
again.
I'm cool with getting recognized like in a mall or airport. There's somebody walking by in the mall, they're like, "Hey, you the dude from?" Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay. Can we take a picture with you? Yeah, cool. And go on by my. There's no scandals going on. There's nothing
No
crazy.
stalkers,
Hey, I don't want to be
no super
stalked. I don't want
fans.
no paparazzi or nothing like that. Just a quick like, and I'm consistently doing stand up enough that I could pay my bills with it. Like, if I'm doing a weekend show, I'm getting like 3 grand in a weekend. I could send that money home and get the bills paid. I don't have to be famous. Like that was the thing I did want in the beginning, but ain't gotta be famous. I mean, known, well known, making good money is just that's cool with me. Maybe a movie here and there, you know, commercial, whatever. Ain't gotta be major.
That's reasonable, man. So, what year was the Cleveland Comedy Fest?
I want to say that was 15 or 15 or
15,
16. 15 or
15.
16. Yeah.
And from there, you've been growing,
Yeah.
obviously. So,
Yeah.
so when has did your detail business come into play?
2020.
2020.
2020.
See if we
Let's
can get
see. Yeah,
a shot on that shirt right there.
it's a little old work shirt, but
Well, the thing about it is, it doesn't matter the quality of the shirt. What it is you are a business owner.
indeed.
Um,
Indeed.
and you are the sole proprietor.
Yeah.
Built that thing from the ground up.
Yeah.
First, before anything, promo yourself, man.
MC Auto Detailing, man. We are in Ambridge. Used to be in Alcaba. We are in Ambridge on Merchant Street. If you want to get your car detailed, you can drop it off in my garage. I can do a pickup, and I'm also mobile. Uh, it's been a journey for sure. Working for yourself is it's a lot. You go from working a 9 to 5 to 24/7. It's like you never stop doing something for the business. I mean, I might take some days off, but I'm still like, well, let me check the site, make sure this wording is right on here, because people will be petty like that if like your wording is messed up or something like that, or punctuation is off. So it's like, well, I got to order these products even though I'm not working today, or you know did I remember to do this? Like it's always something. I mean, I wouldn't trade it for nothing though. Um, it's just like any other business. Obviously, if I had a pool business, obviously the summer would be my busy part, and I was slow in the winter. It's the same with me. Summer's pretty busy. In the winter, I still thrive in the winter. But it slows down. We have busy season.
Uh, as a small business owner,
Yeah.
what are the pitfalls you come across?
Um,
Like outside of like gaining clientele and advertising, like
yeah.
as a small business owner, what is something that people either expect or ask of you that they wouldn't do to a more established company?
Oh, discounts. People assume, and this isn't good for everybody. People will assume a few things. Like if they know you, they're going to think you're not going to charge them the full price. Like, yeah, I am. Why not? Or they think that since you aren't, what's that detail? Was it Zyber? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Since you're not them, why are you charging that? Like you shouldn't be charging up here. You're not them. You should be charging down here. Like they will definitely try to lower your value. Or they'll just say, "Oh, it's just cleaning the car." And like, if it's just that, then you do it. So it's like you definitely get downplayed a lot as a small business owner. You have to just roll with it and just appreciate the people who, when they call or send you a message, "Hey, how much is this?" You tell them, and they say, "Okay." Appreciate them was not the ones that say, "Oh well, I went to the one guy," or "Oh, or it's not that dirty." You weed those ones out. Like, one thing I will say is a pitfall for small business, especially mine. In the beginning, you short yourself as far as what you charge. And I want to say probably everybody does it. Like if I sold shirts, the people who probably sell shirts probably started selling them like 20 a piece, but then the quality got better. They got a better manufacturer. Now I want to sell them for 60 a piece, and then people are like, I was just paying 20, so why am I? So in the beginning with detailing, you start off real low because you're trying to get people. You're trying to get people.
So when you started detailing your business,
Yeah, yeah,
I actually started doing my own little thing too,
yeah, yeah.
detailing because I was working for a company where I was detailing. I said I could do this myself.
Right.
It's funny you mentioned selling yourself short
Yeah, yeah.
because I went on your website, obviously, just to look at your prices
Hmm.
to see, like, okay, am I charging? And I was charging through the roof compared to what you were charging.
Yeah,
And I felt
yeah.
bad, but I was like, you know what? If they're going to pay it, they're going to
If they're gonna
pay
pay,
because you were
right.
charging, and don't forgive me if I'm wrong on this, but it's something like $90 for a detail at the
It
time.
was like 90 for like a basic or something
I
like
was
that.
charging 175 for a basic,
Yeah, no,
like, and
and
just goes up from there.
right,
And
right.
it had made me question because I saw your work.
Hmm.
I was like, it's worth it. It made me question, like, is the market just too low around here? But
It
I think you
just was,
undervalue yourself a bit.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely not that anymore. So nobody
Uh,
think that. But at the time, yeah, I thought that that was reasonable. And don't get me wrong, it brought a lot of people in. But when you have lower prices like that, you attract the bottom feeders, like you attract the deal seekers. You're not really keeping consistent clientele. They're just
I was going to ask
they're
if
not
it's a
consistent.
lot of just one timers.
When you have a cheap price like
Yeah.
that, yeah, it is.
Okay.
It is. It typically it is. But not now, it's definitely not that anymore. But at the time, I mean, I just was just trying to bring people in, and I noticed like a lot of people do, a lot of detailers do it. Like I seen a one couple, they started off $60 details inside and out, and then they moved their prices up, and he lost a lot of customers. You're going to because they're like, "Well, I was just paying 60." He was like, "Well, I gotta increase." Like, but
It's not
you're just trying to
fiscally
bring them in.
responsible.
Mhm.
Like, if you charge such a low price, because not all details are the same.
Yeah, right,
You know,
right,
uh,
right,
what are you doing $12 an hour work for yourself for
right.
when you're selling yourself short, you're selling your family short,
Yeah,
all that? It's just not
yeah,
worth it. People don't realize that time is money.
they don't. And, I definitely up my prices, and they're still not even like super high. They're still reason. I try to keep it reasonable. Like, I mean, because I don't feel we live in a high detail area. Like, majority of the people are in this area. They might want the inside cleaned real quick. Like, I just need the inside. I'm not really dealing with a lot of car enthusiasts, like keeping my paint immaculate. Most guys who think like that do it themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I mean, there are areas like, if you're in Texas or if you're certain parts of Cali and things like that, people really, really value their car. I don't want to say people don't value their car in this area, but not as much to pay like a $400
Hmm.
detail. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they care about their car, but they're not gonna go that high.
Well, part of it too is like inflation hits us all.
True,
And
true.
I'm not here to argue inflation because I understand corporate greed.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that's people say, I get it, but we're using the word for price increases all around.
right.
Um, and you have to increase your, to go with the times.
You have
I
to.
hope people understand
Yeah,
that just
you
to
have
keep
to.
up.
You have to. You have to. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I keep them, in my opinion, pretty reasonable, and they could be higher, but I mean, I got to get some business. You know
I
what
mean,
I mean?
as a business owner, I think reasonable is the sweet spot.
I just keep them reasonable. I mean, if I feel that if someone looks at my prices and they feel it's too much, I really don't need to deal with you because I don't believe that. I really don't believe
Well, I think something we don't realize too, or at least me,
that.
I
Right.
don't think about, is that detailing is a luxury. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because anybody can vacuum out a car,
Anybody can back
but
it up.
detailing is a luxury,
It's a
like
whole
almost like
different
getting
thing.
your nails done. It's
Yeah.
something you do to take care of and maintain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like people don't think of I had a girl the other day. She was like, "Hey," I did it inside. She was like, "Hey, do you?" I did her car inside, perfect. And she messaged me like a couple hours later. She's like, "Hey, do you do like the outside too?" I'm like, "Yeah, yeah, of course." She's like, "I just want my wheels shiny and all that." I'm like, "You want it waxed?" She's like, "Do people still wax their cars?" I was like, "What do you mean? Do they still wax?" I'm like, "What?" So I was like, "Yeah, it's not like it wasn't a fad, you know what I mean?" So I had to tell her, I had to break it down to her,
Yes.
why you wax your
Yeah,
car.
yeah. This episode has been sponsored by Goat Grinder. Right now, go to goatgrinder.com, enter in IM20 to get 20% off your order.
All right, hey everybody. My name's Ron. I'm the owner of Goat Grinder, and this is the Inquisitive Minds podcast. We're sponsoring this forever now. We're going to give Johnny $1 million. So everybody watch this. No, I'm kidding. Anyways, so it's a grinder, sifter in a mason jar. This is your pressure band, keeps it all together. It's your top grinder, bottom grinder. When you're ready to grind up, slip it on there, give it a snug, throw in I don't know whatever you want, and then off center post. You don't smash everything in the middle. And then all your junk will fall into this handy dandy sifter, and then everything else will fall in here. I use it to make relish. So what happens is when I grind up all the, you get all your pickle stuff in here, but then you don't have to have a fucking juicy hot dog. You dump out that extra sauce. And they do fit on larger regular mouth mason jars. I would sell them for $75. Someday I'll raise the price, but for now they're $75. I started out at $90, and then I came down. I should have stayed at fucking $90. I don't know why I'm giving everybody a break.
And she was like, "Well, if I get a wax and I take it to the car wash, won't it come off?" I'm like, "Not exactly." I said, "If you wax your car with a good wax, it will bond to the paint. That's what happens. You can wash your car. Now, if you're washing your car every day, then of course,
Yeah.
I said you can wash it every now and again like a normal. The wax will still be there. Most waxes last, about 3 months. You get a good wax. But I say that to say this: most people in this area, they don't know. They're not that into their car that
Mm.
they're going to pay. And she didn't get a wax. Just to just to add on to that. They're you're going to come across some people pay 300, 400, but for the most they want to stay 100, 200 range. They don't want to go too much higher than that. And that's, I get that. Um, but I will get those people that if someone will book, I'll check my phone. I'm like, oh, $600. Like, they get everything. Like, I want this, I want that, and they'll pay for it, and they won't say nothing. But I feel in this area, you're not every customer ain't gonna be like that. I feel detailing is definitely a demographic thing on how much you can charge.
Well, I wish you all the success in the future with it. Obviously,
Appreciate
when you have a business and you're successful enough to quit your day job
it.
and focus on that, you've already succeeded.
Right.
Some of the hardest part.
Yeah, I haven't punched the clock in 4 years.
Where can they find MC Auto Detailing? Shout out, you got a website, your
Yeah,
socials.
yeah. Go to on Facebook, it's MC Auto Detailing LLC, and then you can book online through there. Hit shop. Um, my Instagram, I can't get into my Instagram for some reason. I don't know why. Ever since I got a new phone, I can't get into it. But typically, people will go on Facebook. That's just more. I would say I don't want to say user friendly, but I would say if you're looking for something like if you're looking to buy something, people typically will go on Facebook.
Hmm.
Like they'll put a post, "Hey, I need to detail who does this." So
Oh
most
yeah.
of my stuff, some people will Google. I'm on Google too. It's MC Auto Detailing LLC on Google. You see reviews on there, but typically Facebook.
Okay.
MC Auto Detailing LLC. Uh, Everything is on there. Make sure it's the LLC because there's another one, and it's in like Texas or something. So make sure it's the LLC, and yeah, you can book right on there. You can shoot me a message. So typically through Facebook, Google as well. My business number is on there. So
So I'm gonna assume like once you started, getting your comedy legs, 15, 16, 17, so on. Um, you had a day job at the time.
yeah, yeah,
Now, can I ask how the pursuit of comedy uh, affected or how it changed the family dynamic for you? Like, how did your family
yeah.
react to,
It's
and not as
hard
much pursuit
to
as like being out at night
yeah.
and stretching yourself
It's
thin?
hard to have a day job and do stand up. I mean, a lot of comics do it, of course. Um, but you are limited on what you can do having that day job. Um, and that's like one of the reasons why I wasn't hard with stand up either, because the one job I had, I was working swing shift, so 7 to 3 1 week, 3 to 11, 11 to 7. That don't leave a lot of room for stand up.
Hmm.
So it's hard definitely to have a day job and do stand up unless you have a flexible schedule.
Yeah.
So you kind of, or you got one of those jobs where you travel. That's a definite perk right there. Or if you got flexible job because you kind of stay in a little box. Like you can't just be like, hey, I'm going to LA for a week. You don't have
Yeah.
no days off. You know what I mean? You don't have no days off. How you can do that? So it does kind of keep you in a certain box. Like I can only do like you do the show Friday. I work, so you can only stay in a certain thing. But everybody, I mean, it's very few people that are fortunate to not have a day job and can do stand up whenever they feel. You know what I mean?
Now, in 2024, see you doing shows all over,
Yeah.
doing good quality shows.
Qualities, yeah.
If you can think to, the growth from there to here, what advice would you give to a comic who still hasn't fully found their legs? Because you're a much more established comedian in the scene now.
Right, right.
And with that, you don't have to go out to mics as much or anything like that.
Yeah.
So there's younger people who aren't even aware of you, but you're well established. What advice would you give to them?
I mean, you just have to get to a point where you don't care. And what I mean by that is if I'm doing this show, if there's people there, I'm gonna give them I'm gonna just say it. Like I'm gonna just do my thing. Like literally the advice I can give is really just do your thing. Just like I don't know, can I cuss on here?
Yeah,
I gotta say,
absolutely.
I gotta say, just like literally do your shit. Like just do your shit. Like just believe that you are funny. Like that is probably one of the hardest things comedians. Like you think you're funny, obviously, because you're doing stand up, but like you really gotta get that in your head. Like I'm gonna go do this show tonight and be funny as hell. Like
That ego that got you to start comedy, because we all had an
yeah,
ego to start. You have to encapsulate it
you have to
for the
think that.
moments.
You have to think like I'm one of the best ones doing it. Like maybe not in the country, but I believe that like I'm the best one in this area that's doing like you literally have to just go do it. And I believe every comic can do it because you're already up there.
Mhm.
You know, I just had to get to a point where I just didn't care. I was like, y'all gonna either receive them, these jokes, and laugh at them, or like you're not. Like I'm the one in control. I'm the one that has the mic. You came here, so
There's something that you actually called me about a couple weeks ago.
oh yeah.
That I wanted to bring up. Me and Joey touched on it a little bit, but it's your story to tell.
hmm
About because I was going to ask you about a bad heckler story, but
Yeah.
this is perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to just go right into it?
So if you're a Pittsburgh comedian, one good circuit to get into is Steel City Comedy Tour. I roll with those guys. Been with them for a couple years. They do shows pretty much like all of like Western PA, not necessarily Pittsburgh. You might go out as far as Harrisburg. You not Harrisburg. Like Johnstown. You might touch a little bit of West Virginia. Some of the places are like in the middle of nowhere. They're in towns that you're like, where? Some of them are like that. But they're good shows, they're good quality shows, they're good crowds. Because you get those small towns that they don't have an improv. They don't have this. So their entertainment they see is like once a year. You know what I mean? So they are really looking forward to the show. So doing a show at a place called it was one of those like American Legions or something
Okay.
like that. It's in Clymer, PA. Never heard of Clymer at all. Clymer's like 15 minutes from Indiana. It's not too far from IUP.
That's how you know a place is in the middle of nowhere because you name a shitty town and
Yeah,
then say it's about such
yeah,
such from there.
it's about a shitty town. So,
Shitty town adjacent.
so, and typically before I get into this, I don't usually have too many problems with audience members. I did when I first started out. I would definitely run into people who were like, I don't know why, just jerks. But typically, I don't usually have that problem. Because I think an audience member can feel when you can't handle it, so they'll message you. Um, so I don't typically have problems with the audience member. They usually laugh, or they don't laugh, or they have a good time, or whatever. So this guy, for some odd reason, now mind you, this is like a archer, it's like archery club or something like that. All members only.
Like hunting and fishing or
Yeah,
country
they were
club.
like hunters. They were all hunters. I don't
Okay.
know if archery was the right word, but they were all hunters. Every person in there was a hunter. That was their club. So they gave me a heads up for it. They said, "Hey, these guys are really country, but they can get a little rowdy, but they're usually a good time." I'm like, "All right, ain't nothing I can't handle. Like whatever." So this guy I'm doing my set. It's going great. Like, I'm having a real good set. And now, mind you, it's just me and one other black comedian. We the only black people there. But that don't bother me either. So he did his thing. I go up, um, and I'm just going boom, 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 boom. And one thing about when you're doing stand up, audience members, especially if you're like honest in your stand up, like I am, like sometimes sometimes I'll touch some like real personal stuff, but I'll make it into a joke. A lot of audience members will think that they know you. They will feel that they know you because you just made them laugh for 20, 30 minutes. You've said some personal stuff. You've made them feel comfortable in their skin. So they will feel that they know you. Like a lot of times they'll come up to you and they just, like, they know me. So I guess this guy felt comfortable to yell out, I got some fried chicken for you. And I'm not on the subject of food. I'm not talking about chicken. I'm not talking about anything. He just blurted this out to the point everybody was like, what the hell was that? Like, what the hell? So, that was a first for me. Like nobody's ever said anything blatantly racist like that. Like, you
And
know.
you said, because, like, obviously it's your situation,
Yeah.
but I don't want it quite downplayed,
Right.
because you said he brought like a piece of chicken in a
He
bag.
had, yeah, they had like a dinner before the show. I don't know if he got the chicken from there or this crazy maniac brought it from home. I don't know, but he had it in a Ziploc bag.
Either way,
You
it was
know,
a pre-planned
it was planned. Yeah,
attack,
yeah, he was planning it.
you know.
Well, actually, I found out after he had said it earlier. I hear him. I was talking, and after the show, they was like, "That's actually the second time he said it." I was like, "I didn't hear the first time." So he made it a point to, I'm going to say this to the black comedian, basically.
Disgusting.
That's basically, I mean, that was the crazy part about it. It wasn't random. He planned that, and I'm like, and and then I recently found out Mike Travers is on that show. Me and him did the show Friday. And he brought that back up to me. He was like, "Bro," he's like, "Do you know he wasn't remorseful?" I was like, "Oh yeah, obviously." He said, "No, no, no." He said, as he was leaving, he said, "Make sure you don't forget your chicken." I didn't know, and I'm glad that I didn't know that because that would have, what I mean, took me off the edge. He was like, yeah, he said it. He was like, you didn't hear him though. He was like, make sure you don't forget your chicken. After I already went, like when he said that, I'm on the mic, so I just started going off on dude. I started going in on him to the point the audience member was like, yo, like he's not joking. Like you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
were like, he's really pissed off. So I start going on this guy and push them off to the side. I got like a couple more minutes to do. So did that. Boom. So that's the worst thing that was ever yelled out.
You know, that was
I was
no.
just like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, it's 20. It was crazy. Like you can't say he can't say like, oh, I didn't know it would be offensive. Like that is like extremely offensive to a
I'm
person
glad
of color.
you handled yourself in the manner you did, because
Yeah.
you were set up for failure.
Yep.
Because even if you reacted in a
Hmm.
in a deserved,
Hmm.
I would say almost
Yep.
violent way,
Yeah.
he was there with all his people,
He was there with all his
and
people.
I'm sure he would have got a thrill or a kick
Yep.
out of
Yep.
whatever came of that.
I would have proved what he already thinks about black people in his beginning. Because for him to do that, he obviously don't think much of black
Hmm.
people. It would have, I would have got irate. But oh, look, that's what they do. You know what I
Which
mean?
is a very
It was
reasonable
reasonable. It
response.
was
Like,
reasonable. I had to think of a few things. I'm 2 hours from home. I think that's what county is that out there? Indiana County. He's probably tied in with the police. It's a small town. You know what I mean? Those people at that venue they weren't going to have my back. There might have been a couple of them, and I'm like, yeah, that was wrong. But when it all boiled down, I wouldn't expect them to have my
mhm.
back. So it just would it was a losing situation, man.
When we talked about it on the phone, the most
Yeah,
profound thing you said to me was, "I can't help my children from jail."
can't do nothing for him. I can't do nothing for him, and that was just one of those moments where I had to be like, wow, like I can't believe that happened. So I said a few choice words to him, and then I left. Comic Eric, he called me, the comic that was before me. He's like, "Yo, you all right, man?" He was like, "I couldn't believe that happened." He was like, "You handled it." He's like, "You mature dude for that." And I was like, "I didn't want to be mature." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like I had to be because it was a holiday weekend too. I've been in jail
Oh
till
man,
like, I would have been in jail till
no win situation.
like Tuesday, Wednesday. This was a Saturday, mid next week, and who knows if it'll let me out easily. My family had to come with bail. It just wasn't worth it. Because technically you can't assault people over words as an adult. Like you can't do it. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that won't hold up.
yeah.
Yeah. So it messed me up, man. But I will say, I contacted Steel City, and they are no longer dealing with that venue anymore. So that
I
guy,
mean, shout out to them for
yeah,
handling it the
shout
right
out
way.
because he didn't hesitate when I sent that message. He was like, "Fuck that! I'm done with them." Like, he started going off. I'm sending a message right now. He sent it a message. He sent me the message that he sent to them, and they're cut.
That was a real stand up as a producer.
Yeah. So that guy, whoever he is, you ruined it for
It's
your
simple,
buddies.
y'all. If you come to a comedy show, don't be a piece of shit. Like that's all it is. The basic from a comedy show is just be quiet,
Yeah,
but don't be a piece of shit.
and I'm okay with someone saying something smart ass if I said something to them.
Yeah.
Like if I'm trying to crowd work you, you sitting there minding your business, and you crack back at me, and it makes the audience like, oh, all right, I deserve that. I said something to you, but I didn't say anything to this guy. Like it was that random. I wasn't even crowd working at that point in time.
Mm.
And listen, there was a guy sitting up front right here with a Trump hat on. And I'm not saying people who support Trump are racist, but so he he's sitting right there. Even he was like taken by. He was like, dude, like.
I mean,
Like,
racism.
like, dude,
Not
I ain't
like
a
this.
racist.
It's harsh.
Like, I'm racist, but not that kind. So yeah, it was crazy, man. And I had another story. This one, a couple weeks before that, did a show in Latrobe. And before I go on, I said to the host, I said, "Do you smell something that's burning?" He was like, "A little bit." I was like, "Well, maybe they just left a stove on in the kitchen or something. They had food before we came too." So I'm like, "All right, whatever." I go up. I'm probably 10, 11 minutes in. And again, we're on a roll. And the smell got strong. I couldn't like ignore it. I'm like, do you guys smell that? And everybody's like, yeah. People start getting up out of their seats. It's like low key chaos. And then a guy comes up to me on the side of the stage. He's like, hey. He's like, I'm gonna have to go upstairs and look. We think something's on fire. I'm like, right on during my set, like right during my set. I'm like, what the? People are getting up. People putting their jackets on. They're like almost making their way towards the exit. So he goes upstairs, and I'm like, what the hell's going on? I'm like, and then there's people in the crowd like, well, just keep going. Which really actually pissed me off because I'm like, what do you think this ain't a damn Titanic?
I
Like,
was gonna say you musician on a Titanic.
Titanic is the ship keeps. I'm like, this place could potentially be on fire.
Yeah.
I'm concerned at this point.
Tell your
So
little skits.
yeah, do your thing. Like, I don't care if it's on fire. We paid. So I'm like, oh. There was like this side of the room saying keep going. This side of the room was like freaking out. I'm on stage just not knowing what to do, and I'm like, well, just hold on, everybody. I'll keep going, but I just want to see like what the hell's going on. So basically, I got heckled by a fire. What happened was the what was not the vent, the exhaust actually did catch a little bit of fire with some dust around it. It actually did ignite a little bit.
Okay.
So the building almost caught on fire. But I will say, once everybody calmed back down, I brought him back. We cracked on my last 5, 6 minutes. So much so to the one comic, he was like, "Bro, I've never seen nobody do that before." He was like, "I wouldn't have done that." He was like, "I thought you were gonna get off stage." He's like, "You stood there, you held your ground." He was like, "That's got to be like a comedy Purple Heart to do some shit like that." And I was
Yeah,
like,
man, that's a very unique heckle.
"Yeah." I literally brought him back. Everybody sat back down. And I had like 5 minutes left, cracked him for another 5 minutes. And that was like 2 weeks or so before the fucking chicken incident. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, what is going on? Like, so you never know what's going to happen when you're up there.
That's very true.
You never know.
That's very true.
We put ourselves out there. Like, you literally put yourself out there. You're standing there by yourself.
The nature of it is being vulnerable.
Yeah. You're vulnerable as hell.
Because the goal, which is an absurd goal once you break it down, but it's to make a room full of strangers laugh at your words. that you created. So you're standing there. I don't know how you feel personally, but I feel like, especially if it's a crowd that pays attention, I'm pouring my heart out.
I am.
I'm trying to give y'all a performance.
I am.
Um,
Yep.
A lot of people don't realize that.
All stand up is convincing the audience members to find what's funny the same as you find it funny. Like, I think this is hilarious. So I'm gonna say it to you guys. I hopefully you think it's hilarious
hmm
too. It's all that it pretty much is for the most part. You know.
That's a very uh, accurate yet simple breakdown.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
I think it's hilarious. You should think it's hilarious too. And I'm gonna say it like this, and hopefully you laugh like I did. And that's
Yeah.
pretty much all it is. That's literally all you're doing.
So, Marcus, on here, I always like to ask people about their paranormal experiences.
Yeah,
Do you
yeah,
have any
yeah,
for me?
yeah. I do. Not a lot though. Okay. I swear I felt when I had one like 2 weeks ago. I'm at the Sheets in Rochester. I did it though, but it felt like it. This girl, I'm in Sheets. I'm in the aisle, and this girl comes out of the bathroom, all white dress on, almost like a wedding dress in a sense, but she wasn't a bride though. I knew she wasn't a bride. Blonde girl, kind of young. So I seen her coming out of the bathroom, and I go into one aisle, and I'm in the aisle looking, and I turn to look, and she's just standing there like this, and I'm like, fuck, my heart jumped, like literally, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
So I go to the other aisle, and she did the same thing in the other aisle, just standing there still, just staring. I'm like, yo, you're scaring the shit out of me right now. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't paranormal, but it felt like it though. I was like, yo, she a ghost? Like, what the hell's going on? Like, I know that she's a person, but she feels like a ghost.
Well,
She
we
literally
we
made,
know what area we're
yeah,
in. That heroin hits hard.
she literally scared the shit out of me. It was a real random night. Like, I don't know why she had on this white dress like that. It was really weird. But I did have a paranormal. This is probably shoot, we probably talking about maybe like, let's see, Layla's 13, so we're probably like 15 years ago.
Okay.
This was a while ago. I'm with my daughter's mom, and we're driving on Monaca Road in Alcova. It's about 9, 10 o'clock at night, and there's farmland on that road. I'm driving. Obviously, she's in the passenger seat. We're just sitting there talking, and a dude walked across the road. He was like a fog, but you can see he was a farmer though. You can see the hat, you can see the jeans and like the flannel, but it wasn't clear though. It was just like a image, and he just literally just walked in front of the car, just walked in front of the car, went into the field, and just disappeared.
Mm.
And I didn't say nothing. She didn't say nothing, and I'm just driving, and then like 30 seconds later, I was like, did you see that? She's like, yeah, I seen it too. But I didn't want to say nothing just because you thought I was crazy. So I said, no, I seen that shit too with a fucking dude. So, there's farms up there. So, so it probably was a farmer that, like, probably died up there and he probably just like walks around.
Okay.
This dude was clear. It was I'll never forget that image.
So a full body
It
apparition.
was a full body, like he was like a fog though, and it wasn't foggy that night though. It was not foggy that night at all. It was a clear night, but he walked across like a fog. I'm telling you, it was a man. He walked across in front of my car, and I followed him with my eyes. As I'm driving, it was like almost real slow mo almost. And he walked into the woods, and it just disappeared. And she seen it too, but she was just like, I didn't want to say nothing because I thought I'm seeing things. I was like, I don't know. And definitely was a farmer up there.
That's pretty wild.
It was wild. I never. You come into some people, they have a lot of like,
Oh yeah.
this one time this happened. I'm trying to think. That's my only one that I could say was like some legit, like, I definitely seen a spirit, ghost, or whatever you want to call them.
Before that,
Clear.
did you believe in paranormal?
Yeah, yeah, I do. I do believe in it. I don't ever want it to happen to me, but I believe in, Amityville horror and stuff like that happening.
Okay.
I believe in, I truly believe in it. My sister, this was after my grandma passed. She seen my grandma in Giant Eagle.
Mm.
She said that she was working at Giant Eagle. She said she turned, like she was cashier. So she turned over to the baggage area. She said she was standing there in a dress. She smiled at her. She looked in the ring again. She looked and she was gone. So I mean, like, that's her story, not mine. But she was like, yeah, I definitely seen her. So I believe in it.
So,
believe that.
you know Chris
Yes.
Greva,
Oh yeah.
another Beaver County guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was on recently, and he was talking about something I believe it was called like ecto fog or something like that. He was around like Monaca Road and saw these almost like flames, but not flames, but like
Okay.
that, but like 5, 6 feet tall, all uniformly spaced,
Oh sure.
and like
Off the
off
side.
the side of the road, moving, but all in like unison. And he said we saw two sets. One was blue, one was green. That night he
Oh
saw
shit.
either the blue or the green, but those ones he said he felt an overwhelming feeling of like calm and peace.
Huh.
And then with another friend a little while, like a different time, unrelated, they went somewhere in the area and saw another color of those, coming out of the
Oh
side of the
yeah.
road. But he said with those, it was overwhelming terror.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And I just want to know if you heard of that being in this area.
I mean, that's the second thing I've heard on Monaca Road, so it's got to be something on that road. I mean,
To be fair, too, it just feels creepy.
it is a creepy road. It's windy. It's dark. It is a creepy. Even in the daytime, it's a little weird.
Yeah, it's not the best.
So yeah, when I saw that, and what we saw, it was a definite farmer. Like that dude was dressed just like a farmer, and I just think that he probably died up there because it's farms up there. Well, used to be. They're starting to tear stuff down, and he probably passed away up there, and he probably just right, walks around.
Spends the farm in his afterlife.
Yeah, probably they say sometimes people get like stuck in I forget what it's called.
There's like residual hauntings. Sometimes there's unfinished business. I
Yeah,
think in
yeah.
Catholicism it's like purgatory.
Purgatory, that's the word I was looking for.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, I heard about that. I recently just found out what that was. But yeah, I don't
Yeah,
have
I know.
much.
Real quick to touch on that, like I didn't grow up Catholic, so I didn't know about
I
that.
didn't know about that
That's
either.
a wild thought, like,
It
or
is.
a wild concept, I guess.
No, it is. I just recently saw that on TikTok. Some girl on TikTok. She says that she can channel.
Spirits from purgatory.
Hmm.
That's a new one for me.
She did Biggie. She did Tupac. She
Hold up,
did.
why are Biggie and Tupac in purgatory?
That's what she did.
Like they can't.
She said Biggie is still in front of the hospital that he died in. He doesn't know that he's dead.
Okay.
She said Brittany Murphy is still in that bathtub. She hasn't realized what happened.
Okay.
Crazy stuff. Yep, buzz on your head. Yep, crazy stuff. I watched her channel a little bit. It was hard to tell if she was full of it or I don't know.
You know, um, I'll blank this name out.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, because
Does she?
I'm not gonna put her out there.
Yeah.
What this person does is like a spiritual medium types of like tarot reading and stuff.
She does that?
Yes,
I didn't know that.
all types of stuff like yoga and stuff like that.
Okay.
Um, I heard a conversation with her. I was trying to talk to her about, let me learn more, bring you on
Yeah.
the program type
Yeah.
stuff. But I heard her talking with other people about it being a scam and she's taking these people money. And like I'll never publicly like try and hurt her business,
Right. Right.
but that angered me to my core. Because I was
Right.
like, and furthermore, I didn't know she was just saying that to joke with the other people she was around
Mm-hmm.
that were making light of what she did, or if she legitimately meant it.
Legitimate.
But
Yeah.
either way, it left a terrible taste in my
I
mouth.
believe it, man. She's like, what's her name on that movie, Ghost? P. Goldberg. Remember
Oh
that?
yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
was scamming on
Ghost.
people.
Yeah, and then when it finally happened, she
And it
didn't know what
really
to do
happened.
now.
Yeah, she really ran into what was his name?
Um,
Henry. Yeah, she actually ran into Henry. Yeah, I don't have a lot though, man. But I 100% believe that it's real and it's true. I guess I have a slight one. Not this house we're in now, our old house. My daughter's door did not open or close easily. And I was thinking about my grandma that passed, and that door just opened up. It literally was like just popped up, and I knew that like it was her because it didn't scare me. It didn't freak me out or scare me, but it wasn't a door that just popped open. Like you
mhm.
had to put force on it to open it, and that thing just popped. Right. I was doing something. I was thinking about her, and then it just
Well, that's actually a very sweet one. It's a very
right because it
nice
wasn't
one.
it wasn't a scary feeling. I really didn't feel anything. I just knew that it was her. Like I could just tell.
Well, before we wrap it up here, I usually like to ask my guests for a piece of advice to the listeners out there. It doesn't have to be anything specific or about a specific topic.
Oh, just
Just
anything?
what piece of advice would you give to try and help someone out there listening?
We are not on this earth for a long time. So whatever you want to do in life, if you feel that it's attainable, even if you don't, if it's really something you want to do, then you should definitely do it, regardless of what that is. As long as it makes you happy, then I think that you should do it. If that is, I want to travel. I want to start a podcast. Do it. I just feel that, we're not here for a long time. What's the saying? We're here for a good time, not a long time. So if it's something you really want to do, man, I'd say just do it. At least try your best to do it, whatever it is.
That's great advice. And before we get out of here, just outside of the detailing business, you got shows coming up. I know you're always available for future bookings. Let them know where they can reach out to you at.
You can go on Facebook. You can go, I prefer you go to Marcus Comedy on Facebook, or you can go to Marcus Cox, either one. Um, Instagram, Marcus Comedy 86. TikTok, I don't use TikTok too much, but it's Marcus Comedy 7. What I have coming up, I'm actually, give me 1 second. I think this is still on. I'm hosting. It's like a, it's like a rap show. I'm not rapping, obviously. I'm just hosting as like a special guest.
Okay.
There's going to be like A&Rs there and stuff like that for people who do rap or sing. I'm just hosting, just a hosting gig for that. I can't find the flyer at the moment. Hold on 1 second. Trying to find the flyer, give a little more info than that. Um, that's June 2nd. I can tell you that right now.
Is Alok on that?
He might very
Loke,
well,
no joke.
he very well might be. It's
The
called,
only reason I ask is
because
because,
you rapping.
well, but he's got a show around that time. And he asked me and a couple other people if we wanted to go and be part of his entourage. So I'm
It,
going to be showing up.
it's June 2nd. It's called Heavy Clouds Talent Fest. 7 to 11. It's down the south side. 21 and up. It says get ready to perform, network, and enjoy a night of Heavy Clouds Talent Fest. Enjoy the most electrifying talent event of the year. And it's just I'm just hosting that. And
Okay.
not really doing stand up per se. June 19th I'll be at Bottle Rocket. Um June 22nd, West Virginia. And then I'm a little bare for the summer, man. I'm just enjoy the summer. I mean, if
Okay.
something pops up, whatever. So I got a couple things in June, like one in July. I'm just enjoy the summer, man. That's all.
Well, thank you
For
for
sure.
coming on the program. Always a pleasure, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, no,
It's
it's
been
been
a
a
while.
long time coming.
Yeah, man.
Long time coming.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we were got able to get together and do this, man. Thank you.
Well, I've been recording at Steel City Arts Foundation, but I'm also a bit mobile here.
Yeah,
So
that's that's a good idea to mobile, man. That's a
I've
good
been trying
idea.
to make things shake on like your schedule, other people's schedule,
Yeah, yeah.
because let's all make it work. Let's work together.
I appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing this one.
Well, everybody, thanks for listening. Until next time.
See ya.